Hello and welcome to another video. I am Bones. I make comics and we talk about comics here. So please like the video and subscribe for more of this. And another way you can help the algorithm, help me out, is to help yourself out by telling me a bit about what you got done in your comic today. We will be, you see, you get to be accountable about getting work done, and I get YouTube points. Win-win, okay? It's the least you could do for a little guy like me. So today, I was looking through all of your comments because you have also left a lot of questions, which is awesome. And I have screenshotted them all so that I can delete them as I answer them and hopefully get through them all eventually. I found a question from Ink to the Nine. The question is, I'm an artist on another writer's comic. We are friendly acquaintances turned into new creative partners. Any tips for navigating that relationship? And I think that's a pretty cool question to address. I work with my wife. When we first started, weren't married. I don't think you have to get married to your comic creating buddy. I think it works all sorts of different ways. So I think the most important thing to consider is to write up some sort of contract, okay? Before we get anywhere, before you make any money, before things get troublesome, is to make sure you are both on the same page. And if this comic does make money, you want to have that settled out. First things first. You want to also be on the same page about sharing work, sharing spoilers, promotion. What are your duties within the comic, and what are your duties outside of the comic? Is there any sort of like amount of promotion you'd be upset if the other creative partner wasn't doing it, you know? Like, it's good to just have that all clear, written out. You don't need to go to anyone specifically to do this. You can if you want. Like, I'm not going to stop you from getting legal advice, and I don't know how legally binding anything you do is, but like, this was like always the advice I got from my dad as soon as me and Ursula started, was like, you guys are good now, but in case things go bad, make sure to decide who owns what and what happens if it does fall apart. Because things sometimes fall apart and you need to be prepared. You can't just go into things expecting them to be fine, you know? It's better to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. So that is the first and foremost advice I have. So that was my first and foremost advice, working on a comic together. Now, I've been working with Ursula for years, a decade actually, like things like shift and change or whatever. And I've learned a lot of other things about working together. One thing kind of you need to settle and figure out is like, who is in charge? Who is making decisions about what? When it comes to comics, I would say that I am in charge of things. Because there's ownership, right? And then there's leadership. And those are different things. Who owns the comic is probably going to be like a 50-50 split. But who leads the comic might be also a 50-50 split. You might both have to like fully decide anything before you move on anywhere. But in my case, I tend to lead. I tend to schedule and decide what's being produced and when. And Ursula, of course, gets like a say in all of this, but she's like more of like the flighty artist type, like needs help organizing things. It's partly because she has like ADHD. I guess I do too, but I have my autism honed into a different degree where I like to make lists or whatever. I don't know. It just works. It's been 10 years and it works. I usually will be like, okay, this month I want you to get this amount of pages done. And she's like, that's ridiculous. And I'm like, okay, but let's do the ridiculous thing. And then we get that done. So like just you need to like decide like who is in control of that and like who has how much of what. I think another thing, I think in general, kind of what I'm thinking is it's easy to break down who does what art and who does what writing. But I think there's like a bunch of like little things that you will forget about and are more like administrative. And they're very important for your comic. Who is going to do the uploading and posting of the comic? I do all of that. I've always done all of that. I manage the websites and I make sure that updates get up on time. But that is a job in and of itself. That's an important aspect of doing comics, getting everything out there, right? Promotion is another thing. Ursula hates doing promotion. So like I usually have to make the posts. It's funny because it makes it seem like I do everything because like I post on my social media like art. Ursula she's not a big poster. She doesn't like to be on social media, and that's fine. That's just something we've decided upon. It's just like how I'm doing the YouTube videos here, right? Like if you plan on going on conventions, how are you going to split that up? It's just getting on the same page about all of these things is very important. Figuring out your schedule is very important. I also think if you're not the artist and you're the writer, learn some art things, okay? I am not an artist, okay? I'm not a huge artist. I'm the one painting or whatever on screen right now, but that's just because I like to color things in. That's it, okay? Like that is where I stand. I like to color things in. Sometimes I do typography. But if you are a writer, you can flat color a comic, okay? It is not that hard. You learned it in kindergarten. You just need to learn the program and you can do the flat colors for your artist. You can figure out a system to help them because as a writer, it is very difficult. There's a lot of brain work that goes into it. There's a lot of thinking. It's not difficult, but it's more like it's less tedious. It's a lot less tedious than doing art can be. There's a lot of tedious aspects to art. If you are not an artist, but you want to work with an artist, try being an art assistant. Okay, this has exponentially increased our output as a artist and writer team, was finding ways to help Ursula get pages done. Flat coloring, if you aren't aware, is where you lay down the layers of certain colors. That's it. They're flat colors. There's no shading. Do that if you can, or lay down panels. That's another one that takes Ursula a lot of time, is just putting the boxes where they're supposed to be. There's a lot of like these little kind of menial things that you can learn to do that will help your artist demonstrate the more skilled aspect of being an artist, helping them cut out the tedium, because it is very tedious to do comics. Find ways to help. I just keep saying that repeatedly, kind of going around in circles. I don't know much about working with other writers as much. I've done some of it, but again, I tend to be the lead writer. I like the leadership role. I like being in control of things. It's a balance of being like, I like that creativity, but that's not my vision, where it's like, how can I help? Okay, I like when another writer comes with like a concept for a character within like a shared world, I'm like, that character is really cool, but based on my world building Bible that I've created, this doesn't make sense. But I want to work with you to make something that does make sense, because like I don't know, I like having my vision. I like just I'm just a control freak a little bit, but you always will need someone who is like the final say, whether or not that's like one person or if there's like a method to which you decide what the final say is. You know, like whether or not you put it to a vote or if you have someone who's the lead writer. But I really don't know tons about that. I've only worked with other writers like a very small amount. I do it for like anthology projects, and I've done it for some other like secret projects that I'm not going to talk about here. It's all about finding the right personalities that work. I think that's kind of like all I have to say on the matter. It's kind of a short one. So I'm going to delete that comment. I'm going to delete this from my phone, not delete it entirely. And I'm going to see if I have any like short little questions. Yeah, because Victoria asked, what do you use for recordings? And then they talked about what they were doing for comics. For recordings, I record via Reflector 4. I use the app Reflector 4, where I can record my iPad with my desktop computer. I think there's like in-app ones. I use Procreate, so Procreate automatically records your art. I have that turned off personally because it just takes up space on my computer as well, and I don't really want to do that, or on my iPad, whereas my computer is a lot bigger. I also have Reflector because I like to live stream my iPad, and I like to live stream 2 iPads at once, so Reflector can handle a lot of them. It's like a program for sharing what's on your mobile devices so that like you can share with the class. I think that's what I use. I like it because it was like a one-time purchase instead of like a subscription thing. I hate subscription models. It's like $30 and you get the whole thing, so I think that's really cool. And I record my audio with Audacity because it's like, is it open source or whatever? It's free. There's a reason everyone uses Audacity. So yeah, that's how I get all of my recordings done. We will remove that question from my phone. And then the rest are big questions. So if you have any big or little questions, I will answer them all. Thank you for coming to another video. Thank you for listening. And like I said, please leave a comment below. They really, really help. Not only do they help my my ability to, reach multiple people on YouTube, reach more people. The interactions really help. It also helps a lot for the encouragement to keep doing these videos. So if you like them, please let me know. Every time I get a question, it's been really helpful to see it and I start thinking about what I'm going to say. It's also been helpful to not bulk record a bunch of things. I like being a lot more responsive. I think abstaining from doing a whole bunch of videos at once is helping me to get excited about making videos, where I find when I bulk record, I end up getting really anxious about making videos, whereas this, I'm just like, oh, I'm excited to make today's video. So we are far away from burnout so far, so we're good, All right, see you guys tomorrow. Actually, see you guys tonight. I live stream tonight, okay? I live stream based on a schedule. If you want to see our schedule, it is on our Discord, and it's also in our community tab, I think. We post all of the days that we live stream, and all of the days we have Patreon chats. Patreon chats are where, like, I will chat with you guys on Patreon, and we will get more comics done, all about accountability. That's the name of the game here. All right, goodbye. See you tonight, or not. And see you, everyone who will show up at the secret stream. We're playing more Octopath, okay? Goodbye. Wait, I'm kind of dumb. This comes out tomorrow, not today. I'm silly. I'm not streaming tonight, but I will be streaming on Tuesday. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Okay, goodbye.